Welcome to We Still Ain't Got Our Shit Together podcast.
Man Cave Mindset.
I am your host, John Wayne Willis Jr.
And I am your host, Corey DeMont Jackson II.
Corey, tell them what we got on this podcast.
First things first, this is a boundary-free zone. We're going to cover a plethora of topics.
Yeah, it's crazy to me how in life, people always think, that there's a time frame.
But see, the truth is, we all still ain't got our shit together, man.
Man, so guess what, y'all? Stay tuned and have fun.
We out.
What up, though?
What's up, though? I want to go ahead and welcome everybody back to another episode of We Still Ain't Got Our Shit Together podcast.
Man Cave Mindset.
And today's topic is going to be: can guys and girls have friends of the opposite sex while in a relationship or married? To get started, I want to get everybody's definition of what a friend of the opposite sex should be for you if your significant other had a friend from the opposite sex. Go ahead, Corey. Start it off for me.
Well. If my significant other does have a friend that is an opposite sex, me and him will already have had to have a conversation. Me and him would have sat down and I would explain what my standpoint is. Hey, these are guidelines. I understand that y'all are friends, but if you cross this line, I'm gonna bring you back across the line to where you supposed to be. Um, for one, it need to be platonic and it needs to be boundaries. Like, don't be calling my girl at 10 o'clock at night. Like, these are family time hours, if you would say, or relationship hours, or hours that's where things might happen. So that's my definition of it.
All right, go ahead. Asia's now in the order. Sorry, that's going correct. Go ahead, Deja. Hit it for me real quick.
I think a well, if my partner had a friend of the opposite sex, um, it would have to be a strictly platonic friend where they have never had sexual intercourse. Um, and that person would have to give me like the relationship would have to make me completely comfortable. When I'm around them, the chemistry should feel like friendship chemistry, and our relationship shouldn't come across as threatening.
All right, A Dot, tell me what you're thinking.
I agree with Data, that it should be platonic now. I only differ with her in that I don't feel it. I don't think it would matter to me if they had a sexual relationship before, as long as that's not, nobody's still interested in the other person now. You've made it clear that you're just friends now, and both parties are on the same page with that.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say they did have sex a long time ago or whatever. You wouldn't think in the back of your mind, damn, they might still have interest because they're so close. They might still have interest with each other.
I don't.
No, because you're with me now, and I'm going to make sure that your interest is focused on me. If
Okay,
we're
I
in a
like that answer. I like that. I like that. Okay.
Yo, I totally forgot to do one thing before we hopped into this, y'all.
what?
Introduce them, man.
I need the ladies to introduce themselves. Like,
Oh,
really, like have a full fledged introduction. Go. I mean, look, I call Adrian A Dot and versus her name. So go ahead and tell the people who you are real quick, Adrian.
my name is Adrian. I've been friends with John since we were born, basically, our whole life.
Like that. Like Deja, go ahead and get. Oh, your camera went out on us. Okay. Can you?
Oh
What
no,
happened?
wait a minute. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Okay,
can.
yeah, now we can see you.
So
Sorry, I was putting my AirPods in. I think that's what happened.
go ahead and ask Deja to introduce yourself, Corey. Ask.
So, so LaDeja,
Huh.
um, introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know who you is and where you come from. You know what I mean?
My name is Deja.
Mm-hmm.
Last name Jackson.
Yes, sir.
I am the lovely, lovely big sister of Corey.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So I just wanted to do that so that everybody can kind of get context of how they know us. I mean, in our podcast name is Man Cave Mindset. So, they're going to go ahead and try to dig into how we go ahead and think already as individuals and kind of help out with that process. Adrian got her camera.
Yeah, because I be having a feeling that the female gender, they're just selfish sometimes. They just selfish.
Oh,
Selfish and controlling.
We are
Wow.
not doing that. We not doing
Wow.
that.
I know.
We not doing that.
Disagree with you, Corey, on such a topic. Now, what I
Okay.
will say is you were just in the middle of about to ask a question before we went ahead and dived in. So go ahead and ask that question that she was getting ready to add, and I kind of cut you off.
Oh, yeah, just with your significant other having an opposite sex as a friend, and they did have a sexual relationship, you wouldn't think in the back of your mind that, hey, they might end up having sex again just because they are close friends and they had such of a strong bond.
No. I mean, I wouldn't think about it if I didn't have a reason to think about it. And I think it just depends on the relationship you have with your partner. If you trust that person, you don't have a reason to be worried about, what they might do. And if you're secure within yourself and your relationship, you're not going to be concerned with that. Now, if they've given you reasons in the past to be worried or things like that, then that's a whole nother topic. But if I'm secure with you and our relationship is solid and neither one of us has given the other a reason to feel that that might be a possibility, then I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Okay. I like that answer.
Happen to agree with Adrian on that topic. I mean, for me, I can't say that every person that has been in my life that I may not have had some form of sexual interaction with before, but as long as when I'm together or my wife is together, she's had that interaction with another person before me and they're friends now. As long as I felt the boundaries were kept, you see what I'm saying? And I didn't
Right.
feel like I had a reason to suspect anything of the of the opposite, then you give them the benefit of the doubt because you hope the person that you're with you have trust with. I
Right.
think that's a big concept to it. But Deja, what do you think to answer that question for you?
For me, I think that I understand that concept. I think it depends on your experiences and not to drag in what you've experienced in the past, right? Because you want to be a completely healed person before you start another relationship. But I think that as human beings, as we progress and we date different people, we take different scenarios and decide how we would act or how we would address the issue if it comes up again in the future. And so for me personally, I've experienced my own traumas and my own issues with that. And I have taken the approach previously of saying, hey, well, it's not anything for me to be concerned with now. They haven't given me a concern, but then the concern kind of came up. And for me, it just made me look at that situation a little bit differently in the future. Say, these are the boundaries that I have, but I'm not going to ask for anything that I'm not willing to provide at the same time.
Mm.
So
Okay.
if I'm in a situation where I have male friends that I have had sexual encounters with in the past, which I do, and I get into a relationship, I understand that those friendships, there will be there will end up being a divide. And I don't mean that I can never speak to them again, but we won't hang like we do now. We won't communicate like we do now. So I would just expect the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
In which I feel that that is a great answer. I personally feel that it will cause some type of insecurities, not for yourself, but for your significant other. Just because, let's be honest, everybody minds wonders. Even if it's not on a norm or your mind might hit that avenue once or twice. It happens.
I think it also matters. It's important to that you meet the friends that you are bringing that friend around your partner and you guys are spending time together so that they're getting to know that person as well. If you're just keeping them separate all the time and you're only hanging out with them one-on-one, that can cause more insecurities to come up as well. But if we're all kicking it together and I'm getting to know them, I think that's important.
I think what you just stated is definitely a cause for suspicion. Like,
Mhm.
What?
I mean, like, if you have a friend that you can't bring around your significant other,
Right. Exactly.
Right,
it
right.
calls for suspicion. Now, I
Right.
if like times don't coincide, like let's say one person works weekends and the only day that they have available to hang out for a coffee is a Wednesday, right? Okay,
Mhm.
I understand, but you better make sure I understand that that person only works weekends.
Mhm.
Because if you going out for a coffee every Wednesday, that sounds like y'all making a little bit of time just for you two, and that
Yeah.
caused a little something. I mean, like, I mean, you be honest, like you think about. I mean, I think about myself if that was the case. I mean, I even think, you know, for me, the talk of the boundaries, as Deja stated before, is hella important. Like, I could take myself in my own relationship. Um, as me and my wife, we're getting started. I mean, we're talking about damn near 10 years ago. Um, you know, I had her come out to like my birthday, and like I have friends, like female friends that are close to me that have been in my life, as Adrian stated, since we were born. Like, anywhere from birth to 3 years of age, we have been cool from that point on. And we're talking about well into our 20s at this time. And before, I didn't really date. I mean, I had women around, but it would be like you got one woman this week, and then next week here's somebody different. So they looking at it as a conversation being, here's some girl, like she pretty. I don't know if she'll be here next week or not. Let's just be honest. And I had to make sure I had the conversation with them, like, nah, this one right here is here to stay. And so that was the conversation that we had at the time based on that. And then, that created the boundaries going forward when you had that ability to go ahead and state that right now this one is here to
Right.
stay because I had a pattern before. Why
Right.
they sink energy into somebody who pattern wise has never lasted a full week? Like, you know what I mean?
And
That
Exactly.
I get that.
that was,
And that's
yeah, I think that
making sure that
that's also what I meant
let them.
about.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I can't.
Sorry. Go
Wait,
ahead.
go ahead, Deja. Go ahead first, Deja.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, no, no. I was just saying that that is what I was referring to earlier when I said that my relationship should not be threatening to that friend. So you see how you had a conversation with your female friends and they took that information and said, "Oh, okay, we need to establish some boundaries so that we can respect what he has going on. So here are the new rules." You know what I mean? Here's the new, and same thing Corey said about having that conversation. Don't call after such and such time,
Yeah.
or it shouldn't be a 2 a.m. phone call or those things. If I sense any type of like push or pull when it comes to that, then that becomes an uncomfortable situation too, right? Like, uh, I think that as a friend, because I've been that friend too, where my friend got into a relationship and I understood, okay, here go the new boundaries.
Yeah. Hey, Doc, go ahead. You were just in the process of saying something.
No, I just think it's important that you let it be known to your friends as well. Like, this person matters to me and I value this relationship. And so, I just need you guys to be on point, basically. I don't think we ever had a conversation about not calling you after a specific time or anything like that. But I think it's just an understanding, especially being a woman, like you just want to be respectful of that
Right.
situation, and you know that if it was your man and he was getting calls at 3 a.m, it's kind of like, why is she calling? You couldn't wait till tomorrow to call you. Was it an
Right.
emergency? Is she?
But like, if somebody's calling me after 12 o'clock, it better be one hell of an emergency.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
Like you better
Yeah.
go. Oh
Yeah.
my God!
Right.
Our homeboy was just in a massive car accident. Oh,
Right.
like I gotta make moves now, right?
Right. And then it's like,
Right.
Not calling me for some like real red flag, like yo,
Right.
something is catastrophically happening at 12, 1
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna have a big issue. I'm cussing somebody out. Like, don't call me.
Yeah.
Hey,
And they don't have
go ahead.
agreed. Yeah. I don't think that it has to be something that's specifically stated. I think that anybody who to your point, anybody who is your real friend
Right.
will want you to be happy. They're gonna want to respect the relationship so that it can be lasting because you've already expressed that it's something that's important to you.
Right. And
But
that's where if they're a real friend and not they don't secretly have intention
Right.
of trying to be your,
Go ahead and
so-
segue on Corey. You
but
don't.
let's be clear though. Men that have men friends can call at 2 in the morning and it don't be an issue. But if
Different though.
it is, but a
That's
friend's supposed to be a friend regardless. A friend's supposed to.
So okay, so let's be honest.
Absolutely not.
Let's
right.
let's say that the Lakers is playing on the West Coast, right?
Uh-huh.
And you a big LeBron fan, yes or no?
Absolutely,
If
most
y'all are
definitely.
playing my team, the Thunder, which are another West Coast team, and LeBron goes for 75, you might call me at 1 o'clock talking shit.
Yeah, like I had. Come on.
But my wife is not gonna be upset. Like, first she'll be like, who the fuck is calling you at 1 in the morning? And she sees, oh, Corey, y'all motherfuckers about to talk. Get the hell out my bed. Y'all finna talk sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say some shit like that. I think to me that you have like a difference on that. But still, like, your homeboy ain't gonna just call you randomly at 2 a.m., 1 a.m.
Right. I was gonna say
Yeah.
I don't think
Going
the
on.
text matters.
If
I don't want anybody
there's
calling
something
that way.
going on. Like, so I can see that like as a process. Like if
Yeah.
you're watching, because we live on the East Coast. So if it's a West Coast game, it may not end if it's like a double overtime game to 2 a.m.
Most definitely.
No, see, y'all know what time it is in Atlanta.
Exactly.
It's still the same time in Atlanta.
Right.
We sleep.
But ladies, I do have a question for y'all. When does flirting go too far?
Oof.
When it's flirting
Right. If you're in a
very
relationship when
in the very beginning.
exactly when you know that you're flirting.
Right.
I mean,
Okay, what if you don't know that it's considered flirting?
Y'all
You need to have a
what's
talk with
considered-
yourself.
Right.
Yep.
Oh no, I mean,
Yeah.
okay,
We're in our 30s. I think everyone's in their 30s. You know what flirting.
okay.
not really though, because
I would say that I agree.
Uh-uh.
I was gonna say is sometimes things can be considered flirting for somebody else, but that person does not consider what they are doing at that moment
to
flirting.
be flirting.
Okay, if you don't consider it flirting, I'm not concerned about how the other person perceives it. Once you know or pick up on the fact that they are now flirting with you and they're taking your kindness as flirtation, then it's on you to shut that conversation down and remove yourself from the situation.
Now,
But if you're intentionally flirting, that's what I have a problem with. I can't control what other people think.
Okay,
Some
I
women
like that
just think
answer.
kindness is flirting and, or are used to getting all of that. So they're like, oh, any guy that talks to me is probably trying to talk to me. That's on them. But once you see that she's trying to slip you the digits or she's, bending over a little too much and winking and rubbing your arm, now it's time for you to handle the situation.
yeah, I don't do it. No touching. No touching. No touching. Like, I think, like it's funny during prep. Like, we kind of had the conversation that I've said that if I'm out and about, I'm usually like I usually like to have conversation. I talk. I feel that I'm very well educated, so I mean I'm very abreast on a lot of topics. So when I'm in a situation, I love to converse. I love to spar with people with words, and sometimes that gathers people's attention. Now, for me,
But you
go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying.
You
You about to have me? You said go ahead. Go ahead.
I did. I was telling you to go ahead.
No, I was just saying, but for me, like I feel like what Adrian said, at sometimes I can understand Corey because at some point, if I'm word sparring with somebody, and
Mhm.
take that as flirty, but you're really just being friendly, then I think Adrian said something today that's a little bit different. Is then you have to be able to tell the signs, right? If somebody tries to touch your arm or something like, first of all, I'm the type like, just don't touch me. Like, I don't know who's around. I don't know who's snapping pictures.
Yeah, boundaries.
Hey, woo! Like, you know what I mean? You gotta what you call it. But if it's fun, you know, you might enjoy a little bit of banter back and forth just cause.
In which that's understandable because I'm a very debatable person. I debate with people. Like it can be the simplest topic. I'm gonna combat you on purpose just to see if you have the information. But people will take that as, oh, you're being very conversational. You're being too friendly with this person. Oh, y'all talking a lot. And that's just me actually having a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think there's anything wrong with having conversations with the opposite sex. It's just that if you start to pick up on a different vibe, that's when you should just, end it there.
And sometimes you miss the vibe though. Like,
Right.
mean, to me, let's be real. If you've been in a relationship for over 5 years, it is very easy to miss the vibe of somebody else vibing with you. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you out and about and shorty now giving you the eye, like, ooh, you sitting there like,
I'm just giving regular eye contact when I talk.
I didn't understand that was the signal, right? Until somebody else lets me know, oh shit, she's giving you the signal. Like, you see what I'm saying? So,
right.
Go ahead, Deja.
I think that I'm not trying to change who you are as a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you consider yourself to be a person that likes to converse, I get it. Not trying to change it. But I do think that everyone has a level of social awareness. And I just believe that we're all adults. And if I have picked up on the fact that she's flirting or that she's taking your conversation to be flirtatious, then I don't see there being an opportunity for you to really miss that.
I kind of disagree.
I disagree with that.
I disagree too.
So what I'm saying is, if I believe that there are levels, like it progresses, that conversation can progress in different levels, right? So you start out, you're speaking, maybe she looked at you and I saw that bitch look at you, but I'm like, I'm gonna chill, right? You keep running your mouth. All right, I'm gonna chill. He's just talking. That's how he is, right? But then next, after she then gave you eye contact or she's staring, then it's something else, or like it's a little, nudge or whatever. At some point, there is a really don't touch him.
Exactly.
Don't. We about to escalate to a whole nother level.
But you're so fun.
My thing is, oh my God. Because then immediately I'm like, he's not funny. He's not funny. You not funny.
Oh,
and I'm definitely not funny.
Yo, hold on. I think that's
right
there.
I'm not funny at all.
That drives me crazy, right? Because I think I'm a funny dude, but then you know your girl is looking at you like that nigga not funny, bro. Right. Like, oh, you think he funny? He's not funny. I'm funny right now.
Right.
So I just think that at a certain point, we should be able to realize that the other person is like engaging with us in an inappropriate manner. And I would hope, maybe with enough practice, that my partner and I receive that signal at the same time, because I would hate to be upset. So I just, I would hope that we're on the same page and we can kind of gather those signs together. And if not, I don't mind nudging you and letting you know that this is getting inappropriate, just to help you out.
Right.
Which is understandable, but as men, I can clearly tell you, we miss signs.
I agree.
We missing signs.
Yeah.
Especially if y'all ain't there.
Yeah.
Like, if we out there on our own, like, we definitely missing signs.
I think women are much more intuitive than men. And as a woman, when another woman's being flirtatious or crossing that line with your partner, because we know how to throw those subs at another woman without the man knowing, you know? So I
Mhm.
pick up on her, oh, she's being disrespectful, she's trying me. That's something only I think women pick up on, unless you just have a male that was raised around a lot of females and kind of picked up on that a little bit more. But most men, I think, typically miss those signs a lot of the time.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
And
just think that a lot of times we don't, as women, we like to write men off as dumb, right? I can't say I can't say how many times we say, man, they don't be knowing, they don't be knowing,
yeah,
but a lot of times they be knowing.
But
I
see,
would
They
agree
just
y'all say
don't.
we be knowing
certain
about the
things.
wrong situation.
Right.
Y'all use that statement for the wrong situation and then realize, oh damn, he really do know. But
Yeah.
any other
They don't ever realize that you didn't know, because if they said you know, guess what?
Then you know.
You know.
Okay.
That's what they saying. Like, so ain't no way for a woman to be like, you sitting there having an argument at this point where you just got home, like, oh, so you just gonna flirt with her in front of my face and some shit like that. And you just like, what you mean?
what the hell you talking about?
We
Yeah.
all having conversation at the time. But
Yeah.
her is like, oh, you seen her looking at you with them eyes, like, I wasn't looking at her eyes.
Yeah. I think men don't pick up on those signals well. But in other situations, y'all definitely try to play the fool.
I mean,
And that's irritating, but
I don't disagree, right? Because to me, I also think in the conversation of having friends, right? If I am a man, I am more worried about women than men, right? Because for women, you guys are better than us at
Yeah.
juggling multiple people.
Mhm.
I mean, what, do y'all have a comeback to that?
I
I
do.
don't
No, I definitely think. Listen, I think that women are smarter than men, and
Yep.
so if we desire to be sneaky, if we have a desire
Yeah.
to juggle, then we're the best at all of it,
Honestly, I
including juggling.
feel
But the
y'all are actually wrong. And the reason why I say that is because men have a I don't give a fuck in them. And the reason why they don't have I don't give a fuck in them because there's plenty of times where men can juggle 10 to 20 women. But
I've never seen
and,
it.
huh?
Not get caught by any of them. I've never seen it.
Absolutely.
Me neither. I
Absolutely.
feel like
But there's a point where a man can say, fuck it, I don't care if I get caught.
I don't
Men go through the I don't care part much quicker than women do.
So I think for you, Corey, right now, that statement, I think that you have a small plethora of men that have that ability.
very
Mhm.
small.
And most men like me, that's way too much fucking work.
2 women is hard for most
I,
men.
like
right, you gonna get
sir.
caught. You
Right.
gonna get caught.
for me,
No, sir.
look, so I'm saying like the conversation for me, I'm saying that's too much work. I'm not juggling a ton of women if I got a girl. It's too much work. I'm gonna get caught. I know
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna get caught. I'm gonna be sloppy and my phone gonna be sitting up one day. Somebody gonna be trying to send a message. First of all, I ain't paying for 2 phone bills just to be out there cheating. So I ain't about that life. One. Now, I do think though women are used to, especially women around our age range, are used to juggling multiple men if they have been single, because women like to use men. I mean, i.e. to go eat, maybe get a bill or two paid. I don't know.
Mhm.
I just think that
Well,
I wouldn't say it's a
go
like
ahead.
what
Huh?
it is. What it is. It's not like I like doing it. It just kind of happens that way.
And also, it's not that I'm trying to be sneaky. I'm
Right.
not juggling and being sneaky. I had a guy ask me today, "Do you have a date today?" And my answer to him was yes. It's not that I'm trying to sneak and juggle. This is an active thing. It's a lifestyle. I'm single, and so I date multiple people. You
see,
see what I'm saying?
yeah, like, look, if you ain't find her young enough to know that she ain't need that she don't need you, bro, leave them alone. Nah, let me stop playing.
Now, unless if they got daddy issues, then you got to know how to target that. But that's another topic.
What
I got.
God,
Oh my god. Oh Lord.
all I'm saying is that what I will agree with is that for me, the sex that people should be worried about with having the opposite sex as friends is the woman inside of a heterosexual relationship.
I disagree with that statement too.
How?
Why?
Wait, what was that?
He thinks that we are the ones that people should really be worried about when it comes to having friends.
Having a friend, and so
No.
the reason why I say that yet again is because women are more careful when it comes to juggling the differences of relationships with certain people. Now, I am not saying that statistically speaking, women cheat better than men, but
I think
speaking, women cheat better than men.
I think it is. But I think with a point you're missing it too, you're missing a key component of that statement is that men cheat just to have sex.
So do women.
Yeah.
A smaller percentage though, I believe. And then women cheat emotionally.
Speaking now,
most women emotionally first before they ever physically. And if they're cheating emotionally on you, 9 times out of 10, it's because you're not giving her what she needs in the relationship. Y'all will just go out to the store and it's like, oh, she's shaking that thing in front of my face and I was a little horny and so we ended up in the coat room. Sorry, babe. Like, well,
it's animalistic. Yeah, it's animalistic.
And end up in the dressing room with the
Corey,
guy.
do you take offense to anything they just said?
First of all, they just called us an animal.
It's animalistic. Y'all asses, it'd be like little dogs and the squirrel run by, and y'all like, oh my God, it's a squirrel. I have got to see what's going on with that damn squirrel.
I will say it's animalistic squirrel like when you see an ass walk by.
Oh,
I don't think that is animalistic for a dude to be out there cheating. I think especially in 2021, 2020 and 2019, more men were faithful than women.
Oh my God! Where are you reading? What did you read?
Most definitely. I had a lot of conversations.
Hold on.
Their women cheated on them.
I need to see
how many conversations have we had with women where men cheated on them? The fact that you are taking the fact that you are thinking, I've had a lot of conversations with men that have been cheated on. And so you automatically turn that into women cheat more than men. Lets me know that men still cheat more than women.
Oh
no.
Because we don't even take it to be like a big thing. We just know every woman I know been cheated on. Every single last one of them.
Every single woman you know been cheated on?
Yes. Can y'all say that
every single woman I know has been cheated on?
I can't say.
I can say every man damn near I met.
I mean, I say for me, I can't say that every man I know would even tell their homeboys that their girl cheated. So I don't know if for a man that you're running around saying, yeah, man, she cheated on me, unless she got caught, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like for a man, that's a very prideful situation. Like men pride themselves on not being cheated on, right? Like I tell people, men are a lot more fragile when it comes to emotionally, especially dealing with the opposite sex. Men are a lot more fragile. So we tend to hide a lot more of that fragileness around each other. But what I will say is at the end of the day, this is 2021. Women cheat more than men.
Where is that?
Right, so
I need to see a graph or something because you can't just throw that statement out there. And if you say that women are better at things that you wouldn't even know if you were getting cheated on. So you wouldn't even be able to.
I know enough women that have cheated on men. Okay, so for every one of your homegirls that you know been cheated on, do you know if they ever cheated on a man?
Yes, and all of them have not.
Yes, and majority have not.
Exactly.
So
even
let me break this down
being cheated on and accepting him back,
right?
Still never went back and cheated.
Exactly.
See, let me break this down real quick. All right, so I'm a very conversational person. I said this earlier. I have conversations with multiple men, and I ask them what makes them want to deal with a lot of women, what makes them want to juggle. I got to the core with a lot of men, and a lot of them said when they got their heart broken, that's when they turned into the animal that they are today. So, of course, it might be wrong that men cheated, but they've been through some things to make them cheat in the
So
first place.
here's what I hear when you
And
say
we
that.
haven't.
He cheated on one
I'm
time.
not saying I haven't.
Turn for getting cheated on one time. He now cheated on multiple women.
Oh yeah,
So
but John just
Still
said that.
not in your favor.
But see, John,
Yes. How many
just
times
said
you
our
get cheated on,
emotions
sis?
are
How
more
many
fragile.
times? No, F
Right.
that. No, that is an excuse. That is a cop
It is.
That is not okay. You
Look,
do not hurt more than a woman does when she gets betrayed.
Yes,
She hurts
Mhm.
just
because
as
they're more
deeply.
emotionally fragile. Men
No, she
men
hurts
are
Look.
more emotionally fragile than women.
you know
No,
that
you guys
saying
are
when they
not.
say a person is insane when they do the same thing over and over and over and over again multiple times. A man
Yeah.
is not going to keep getting his heart broken over and over and over again. He will break 1,000,000 hearts before he get his heart
What type
broken.
of sense does that make? Because now what you're doing is
It don't
create
make sense.
emotionally broken women that are gonna go
Yep.
out there and possibly cheat on
Yep.
another man who they may not have done it before. It's just a cycle that keeps on going. So you're telling me
Yep.
that if you take a test and fail one time, like a driving test, you're not gonna try again. You're not gonna retake the test just because.
I ain't going back. That's why I passed the first time.
That logic.
Mm-mm.
Nah, okay. I mean, seriously. Okay, so I'm gonna make a statement. I do think that men and women are a lot closer than we give them credit for sexually, than what we think. Because everybody says, oh, a man could just fuck just to fuck, right? And a woman has to have an emotional attachment. I do think that more women and men are closer to the middle of that, where it's you kind of have emotional, and sometimes you don't need it. So I do think that people do make decisions based on whatever drives them at the moment. Now, what I say by that is, to me as a man, from what I have seen, and it's not just based on talking to men, but it's also based on talking to women that I've seen, and that I know I've been around, I've worked with, I've been cordial with, that I've seen just over the time, and even talking to some experts that I have talked to. More women are liable to cheat in today's time based on the factors of the gender roles changing, and especially in the African American community, with Black women being the subset that's the most educated, owns the most business, makes the most money. I mean, women are now not looking for a man for support, right? Because you make your own money. You make your own money. You don't need support from a man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So what you
Mhm.
do now is not the same conversation. So when I say in 2021, more women cheat, I cheat in 2021, more women
So
cheat.
you're saying women weren't cheating before just because they depended on a man, so they weren't going out.
I mean, you have to
That
be
was the
honest.
only.
You do have to be honest. Your criteria
Mm-mm.
is a lot.
Y'all grandmamas was fucking Charles too.
You said what?
I said y'all grandmamas was fucking Charles too.
Okay.
They was down there at the bar getting it into.
Entangled.
It's just
Look, let's not even talk about entanglements. I think
Yeah, because I got a
we're not even
whole
gonna go to a whole conversation talk about entanglements.
because I feel that she technically
She cheated. She a cheater.
absolutely she cheated.
Cheater.
But one
she
thing I
did
can
not
say,
cheat.
she
They
is
had
a
an
predator.
understanding.
She is a
No.
predator.
Oh my god.
She preyed
preyed for
on
somebody
him.
else.
She's a predator for sure.
She preyed on somebody with a emotional.
I got emotional problems. Jada, can I come to the Red Talk table?
Have it. No, I agree with on women and men's sex drive. I think is closer now than before because
Definitely.
a lot of the stigma around women being sexual is gone. Like when you have songs like Pop coming out and things like that, we can express our sexuality more. So I think the drive may not even
Summer.
change,
Come on now.
or it's not so much of a stigma attached to it anymore. So I'll agree.
I can agree with that.
So I'm just saying, to me, y'all are already AKA smarter than us when it comes to juggling. You guys are already better
I
at
ain't giving them that.
We should
I'm
have-
not giving them that.
Corey, you would
Smarter.
talk about a small subset of men that can handle multiple women without getting caught. That's
Yeah.
very few subset of men that can do that. Now,
I'm
you
One
might have
firsthand,
a lot
so
of
I
people that
can.
think they're doing that until they get caught.
One,
You ain't got a lot of players out there like that. Just being real.
Right.
This is not the movies. And even in the movies, How to Be a Player, he got caught.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Just sloppy.
flop.
Look, that's why I said for me, that's not my lifestyle. I know I'm sloppy, so I gotta have one.
Yeah.
Shit.
Intuition helps us also know when something is up. And that's why we're just more emotionally and I think connected than men are. So we can pick up on little signals or vibes and be like, you know what, something doesn't feel right. And
Yep.
9 times out of 10, you're correct when you feel that way. So you
So
start to look for
What
evidence.
what if you started off that way and you were wrong, right? But
Great.
it's like the conversation, like, oh, I bet you out there cheating. Oh, nigga, I bet you out there cheating. And you talk that into fruition.
Well, it doesn't. Oh, go ahead.
And you talking, I mean, some people do talk that conversation into fruition, right? For a woman to accuse you or a man to accuse you of cheating multiple times, even though you have not cheated, why not just go cheat?
Well, I wouldn't accuse you without evidence. Even if I think you're cheating, I will hold it inside of me until I have proof.
She out here,
But see, you're a little
MacGyver
different.
ass,
Well, I
little
have
different.
questions.
bad lie. Go
What's the
ahead.
question, Deja?
Yeah, I don't know that my response is gonna be, oh, you cheating ass, blah 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 blah. My immediate thought is not gonna be that you're cheating. My immediate thought is something isn't wrong. I mean, something isn't right. For some reason, we're not connecting emotionally. There's some sort of
Right.
push and pull going on right now, and I'm not sure why. So I'm gonna try to get to the bottom of it. Now, based on his response to me trying to get to the bottom of it, I may develop feelings that you're being dishonest
Okay.
or you're not, you cheating, you out here doing something.
Right. Because y'all
And
give
then
yourself.
that's when we try to figure out what the hell going on.
Right. We will say, hey, where were you at last night? First I went to the 7-Eleven, then I went to the basketball court, and then I met up with John.
Nah, I don't know who do all that. Me
It's
personally,
like
I believe in the
straight
truth.
tell the
answer.
story
I
completely
believe in the
differently
truth.
when you're lying.
I
Completely.
believe in the truth. The truth will set you free.
Yeah.
Look, I tell my daughter this all the time, right? My daughter's 4. I say, Daddy tells her this: you cannot get in trouble for telling the truth. Now, if you lie to me, you're gonna get in trouble. Because I want her to get into the process of realizing, even if I mess up, right, and you ask me a question, you're gonna get hit with the truth.
Mhm.
Because either way, I'm not gonna have to make up another lie to cover the lie that I just made up.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's still too much work. I just don't believe in overworking myself. So I don't know. I mean, I like Deja's view on how she's gonna go about it. Adrian seems to me like she's gonna be out there on some detective stuff.
I'm definitely
MacGyver.
MacGyver, that's
absolutely. I will find out, and we'll come with a Bernie Sanders board and be like, here's the text message you sent at 10:45 a.m. when you said, where them cheeks at? Who is this?
Corey on some mission?
Oh yeah, I'm
I
gonna
have a question
investigate
for y'all
too.
though. What you say, Deja?
Deja, you gonna investigate too?
I'm gonna investigate. Hell yeah. But
Yes.
it's after I have come to you and tried to have a reasonable
Right.
conversation with your ass, and you gave me the vibes that you don't know how to be honest with me. So then I gotta go figure the shit out myself. I tried to ask you first.
Well, that's most Scorpios.
Hey, look.
Oh, you're a Scorpio too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, girl.
All right, so
Hey,
look,
girl, hey.
I do have a question for y'all. Now, does this make a man a bad person? If he takes you on a date, he wine and dines you, he treats you like you the woman that you're supposed to be treated. He makes sure that you have a wonderful time. The sex was great, but then don't call you for a month afterwards. Yeah,
Yeah. That you said, is that
I
wrong?
mean,
yeah.
Yes.
Yo,
How?
the meme, bro.
Why? Why would
The meme that be out where the lady was like, "You put the shit in my chest."
Yeah.
Do you think I'm not gonna call you?
that was hilarious. That was
Yeah.
hilarious. No, so for me, I don't know that I think that it makes you a bad person, but I think that it depends on the persona that you were trying to give.
Right. What
So
were you
if you are doing all right, if you're doing all that whining and dining to make me feel like you're attempting to stick around or you're
right,
attempting to build something with me, then I'm not fucking with that. I think that's foul. If
right.
you and I have spoken and we have an understanding that we just enjoy each other's company while we have it, and then
Hmm.
when we're not around each other, then we're not around each other, then that's different. No, I don't think you're a bad person, but there's some communication that needs to be involved. Like, don't try to play me by
Exactly.
doing all of those things.
But how
Like,
is that playing if basically he treated you like how you supposed to be treated? He makes sure that you have a wonderful time. You
it's
you
about
you,
intent.
you experience like how can you say it's about intent? The intent is, hey, we're going to have a good time tonight.
So
Simple as
That's
that.
something that needs to be said. If you're saying to me, look, I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm not trying to be in a
Yep.
I
relationship.
no,
I just want to have a good time. That's something that needs to be said up front though.
So
Because
you
you're
so
doing all of that just to disappear. Like you don't have to do all of that to get cheeks with some girls.
hey,
You know
but
what
listen,
I
see
mean?
but see it's not the get
gonna
cheeks
say,
part.
you gonna know what she's gonna say? I'm not losing your number. You done put it in my chest. You done took me to Ruth Chris. You done got me a T-bone steak.
And see,
I'm not losing your number.
Just
but
keep it on. Like if you only want to have if you just want to have something casual and just have sex, not have any strings attached or expectations, just say that up front.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
but see why does that have to be said if basically he said, hey, do you want to go out tonight? After you say yes, he come and gets you, he takes you to
Mm-hmm.
this place, y'all have a magical night, and
Mm-hmm.
the night end up to having sex. Why does it have to be, hey, this is just only for one
Okay,
night?
time
Like,
out, time out. I think for Corey, you're mentioning that in this scenario, the gentleman has only asked for the night, right?
well, he didn't even ask. He just said, hey, let's go on a date.
And so you go on a date, it's an amazing date, but he had sex with the girl and then don't talk to her no more, right?
Yeah.
And
Why?
he wasn't fucking with her. He ain't like her. She had bad sex.
But why can't you just say, hey, after our date, I just don't think it's gonna work for me. Just say something. Why are you gonna just ghost the girl?
Hey,
What's the reason for doing that?
look, I
Look,
What is
it
a good time?
honestly,
I
honestly,
think ghosting is immature.
It is. It
I
is.
do.
Especially if we're in our 30s. Like, come on, just be upfront. Let her decide because I feel like like trying to act like a lamb in wolves, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, if you don't want things serious, give her the opportunity to decide if she wants to have one night stand or not, or if she wants to date somebody who's more serious about being in a relationship. You're taking that choice away from her by
well,
presenting.
yes and no. Yes and
I
no.
wouldn't say
Yeah,
you're taking the choice because
you're
she
not taking
agreed to
the
go on a
choice
date with you.
because the
Going on a date doesn't guarantee sex. Going on a date doesn't
going,
guarantee
going on a date doesn't guarantee you that you guys are going to talk.
right, but it should guarantee that you're a man enough and mature enough to say, you know what, I didn't really have that great a time on the date, or I'm just not feeling the vibe, so I don't think we are gonna go out on a second date.
So you're
Well, two things for me. Oh, go ahead.
no. I was just saying for Adrian, she's just basically saying at that point that there should be some form of communication saying that you guys are no longer going to communicate because he's not.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Agreed. I don't think so. For me, two things. Now, I don't believe that you should be ghosting a girl after y'all have sex. I think that's just foul. So if
Hmm.
you agree, I
Yeah.
agree with Adrienne. If you don't want to communicate with her, if you don't want anything further with her, then it's okay to say that. Now, I personally only have sex when I want to have sex. I have to have a desire to have sex. It's not because I am expecting some sort of reciprocation or action from you afterwards. It's not because I'm doing it for the betterment of the furtherment of our relationship. It's not because
Right.
I believe that these are your expectations. I'm not doing it for any of those reasons. And so if it doesn't work out after we have sex, I am not upset as a person because I
Right.
only did it because I wanted to do it. But I
Yep.
do think that having sex with me and then just fucking disappearing is childish.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Yeah.
okay, because I do see when people do this a lot, they'll go ghost and then they'll pop back up a month or two later. They be like,
Oh, I
I
don't
had
answer the phone
sex.
for them niggas.
What?
Exactly. You would another response from
First of all,
Right.
I'm gonna put this in layman terms real quick. I'm gonna put this in layman terms. If a person ghosted you after fucking, it didn't hit you for 2 months, he just lost the pussy that he did have that he replaced you with.
Absolutely.
Right.
So he's just looking to get something for the
Time
time
being,
being
yeah.
right.
versus being in that situation where you guys are good to go. Hey,
But see, the only reason why I'm saying these things is because these are questions that people have asked. Like, why do men go ghost and then pop up a month later? Why
they're-
do men? I think we have a good time and then they don't
I'm
contact.
about to write that down, Corey, as an actual topic to cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about why people vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now the reason why I said that is because I'm gonna try to bring this into fruition. We are at 50 minutes, y'all. This has been
Oh
Oh
wow.
man.
topic,
Oh, quick.
amazing podcast so far. And I want everybody to kind of leave with saying two things. One thing, if you came into the podcast with a certain mindset on friends while in a relationship with the opposite sex, and if during the podcast you feel like you learned anything, and one thing that you might have learned during the podcast, and give both real quick, starting with Deja.
Um, so for me, I came into the podcast feeling like men, if I'm dating you and you fucked a girl when y'all was in 10th grade, that y'all cannot be friends. But one thing that Adrian said that resonated with me was that it's about the relationship that you've built with that person. And I will say that if I was with someone who gave me the ultimate level of security when it comes to that situation, and I am around them two or you two, and we are all whatever, whatever, and I'm beginning to feel comfortable, it may be something that I can grow to be okay with. So that is growth on my part, believe me.
Okay. Okay. Woo, woo, woo,
Yeah.
woo.
And what was the other thing I was supposed
Oh
to
no,
say?
Yeah.
you answered both questions.
Oh, okay,
You
cool.
said that you came in thinking, if your man smashed somebody in 10th grade and now we're in our 30s.
Right. And I mean it.
Hey, the job motherfuckers. But you were able to say that you took something away from what Adrian said, and that's dope. Go ahead, Corey.
All right. So for me personally, as a man, I did come in here thinking like, you know what? M- People can have opposite sex as friends. But one thing I did learn, a communication line has to be drawn, meaning that you and that person might have to sit down and have a conversation, or you and the significant other might have to have a conversation for her or him to relate a message and say, hey, these are things that's changing, and are you okay with it? If you're not okay with it, then we have to cut our friendship back some, just because you have to respect the other person in the relationship. So
All right, A Dot. Give me the two things that you're feeling
So
and already knew or felt.
I mean, coming into this podcast, I just thought, if you have like a solid, tight relationship, you should just automatically be on the same page and just know what the vibe is. But I think one thing that Deja said that made me rethink that is that you can have a secure relationship, but you still have to have those discussions with your partner to know like what they're comfortable with, what you're comfortable with, what their boundaries are, so that when you're out in those social situations, if there is a girl that happens to be flirting with your man and he's not picking up on the vibes, he already knows what to look for in you, or you guys already have like, okay, when I give you this look, or when a girl does this, it bothers me. So he'll be more prepared in knowing what you do and don't like and where to draw the line. And they're not going to know that without you telling them. Having that discussion prior to going in.
Okay. Okay.
I like it, yo. I think for me coming into this podcast today, the main things that I really viewed when it came to having friends is, and through my personal experience, I always thought that everybody should understand that somebody else has been in somebody else's life before them, right? Versus not understanding. I think Deja mentioned it today and mentioned it during prep. Um, and I take it back to the traumas, right? It is unfair of me as an individual to feel like my significant other should be directly where I am based on me not knowing the complete level of trauma that's coming into a relationship. And if you're older, everybody has had a chance to date or to have situationships or to have something where baggage is coming, right? And to just really sit back and understand, the other person's plight and whatever that might be, is a calming sensation for me. I want to thank everybody outside of Corey, because he's always going to be on the podcast with me,
Yes, sir.
for coming through and really blessing the man cave mindset with some women intuition today here on the podcast.
Of course. And I think you should have me and Deja back every time you need woman's intuition.
Hey, look, no,
Yeah.
I stated in the prep, and I stand by this. Like I was talking to Corey, I was like, yo, Deja brought like a presence to the podcast. I was like, why was she not your first choice, my dude?
My bad.
Aw,
My bad.
it's
my
all
bad.
good.
But
Wasn't
It's
even
all
that.
good.
but it is to the point where during our prep with you two, we actually gathered so much information that's going to come out on different podcasts. I promise you that we will have y'all back
For swear to God. Yes, sir.
for sure. So it has been my pleasure. We have talked like we would have continued to keep going if I didn't really break us down for our time frame. We are really into it at 56 minutes on this podcast today.